It is a beautiful day to be in the house of the Lord, and it is Easter. And so traditionally, we celebrate Easter by saying, Christ is risen.
Christ is risen indeed.
Well, let's try that one more time. Even that was kind of wimpy. Christ is risen.
Christ is risen indeed.
Amen. This is a very different, strange kind of Easter here in 2020. Different from all of our traditions that we have come to love and expect, because we're not all together. But the very first Easter was also not in a crowded room. It wasn't in big worship spaces with singing and praising God. That very first Easter morning, the disciples were locked away in their homes, scared. They were afraid. They wanted to believe the good news that Mary Magdalene and the women had told them, that Jesus was alive, but it seemed too good to be true. They were living in a time of such despair and fear. If they left their homes, their lives might be at risk, or their loved ones might be at risk. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Could a miracle really have happened? Could life really have won out over death? Could this time of terror and fear finally be coming to an end? Alone in their homes, they dared to believe that hope was possible, that the long night was over and morning had broken, and that God's love was the most powerful of all, even though it didn't seem quite real. Eventually, they were able to leave their homes when the fear and the danger subsided, and then they went around celebrating and spreading the good news that Jesus was risen, and love was the most powerful force on earth. This year, we might get to experience a taste of what that Easter was like. Still in our homes, each of us that are participating this morning are in our homes, whether we're watching it on Facebook Live or we are participating by sharing something in worship, but we are in our homes. But there's hope on the horizon. In a while, it will be safe for all people to go out. But right now, the loving choice is for us to stay in. But the time will come when we can gather together again. We can sing and we can shout the good news that God brings life out of death. And love always has the final say. This year, as we worship, we might get the closest chance to what it was like that first Easter.